Hi, Mark.
Nice hair.
Thank you. I I owe you a query letter revision. I'm probably going to be able to get to that tomorrow.
Okay, great, great. Thank you.
Yeah.
I've been collecting Asian. I got some from the sub club, and I had
Good.
some from before, and then I went to the marketplace. So I got about a dozen, and there's some really good prospects, like people looking for memoirs and
Good.
from people of color, and some people that are like for editors, but for are like building up their list of clients. So I kind of that's a good combination for
Mm,
me.
That's
So
fantastic.
I'm just going fishing now once I get that query letter type.
Good. Yes, yeah. I've just had a couple of other things ahead of it, so
Oh,
and
I
I can
know. Believe me, I'm just glad you could get to that.
yeah. So yeah, who are the agents? So while we're sort of waiting for other people to show up, you can tell me
I
a
can't
couple
remember
of
any
them.
names. I just have a huge list,
Good.
from different agencies. But I like the sub club when they list agents. It's pretty current, and then also they list like what they're looking for and kind of like a take on who the person is. So it's really kind of helpful background.
Yeah, fantastic.
So
Fantastic. Yeah, I'm doing a day-long workshop today for people who write memoir and essay, and there was just a literary agent on who was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal.
wow,
And she really, really likes memoir. So I can get you some info about her in
yeah,
particular.
sure. And if you
She
say
just
it could help,
Welcome, Consuelo.
Hi.
Yeah, this agent just mentioned that on this call, there's going to be like two other agents on this afternoon as well. But this agent who mentioned on the call that not only is she looking for memoir by like real people who aren't famous, um,
and that's
she
me.
she there are 14 agents in her agency, and even if like she can't take it, or even one of the agents in her agency can't take it, she knows other agents because she really just likes to match writers up with the right agent. I was like, that's great. That's just fantastic. We love to
Wow,
hear
that's a
this.
dream come true.
Yeah. And I just listened to her but basically a lot of people pitched their stories, and she just was like gave her all kinds of great advice about how to really develop the idea, how to get, kind of test proof of concept and get essays out there. So I've got a lot of good ideas. One of the people on the call, for instance, had done an essay that was on an audio essay that was on This American Life. So, there's just outlets that you would not, maybe you might
Wow.
overlook, but that's ways to really develop your idea and get noticed. Um, so anyway, gosh, got a lot of people flooding in. Ellie, Jenny's here, Consuelo. I don't know how, whether all of you have met yet. So maybe we should just sort of start by going around. And I think we have some elevator pitches that people were gonna share. Who is ready to do that?
Right.
Mark is. Consuelo?
I have had a rough few weeks with
Oh yeah.
family and
Yeah.
other things. Yeah, I haven't been able to do much
Okay.
since our
That's fine.
last.
You do have your query letter though. So Mark, I was just apologizing. I hadn't gotten your
I
revision,
can
but
read.
I did get one to Consuelo, and Mark is next.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I can read. I can look for that and read it.
Why don't you do that? And then that would be really useful for you, Consuelo, because you would get to sort of in the moment
Yeah,
get
no,
people's reactions to it, right?
I wanted to have everything done by now, spreadsheets and
Yeah, just
agent
oh
lists
no.
and oh, and query letters and elevator, everything, but
Okay.
family
Well,
just took over for the last couple of weeks, so.
why don't we just start by going around and just say your name, where you are, and your book. And then we'll get a little deeper in with elevator pitches and things like that, or questions that people have. So because I'm not sure, I think Ellie, you were on the refuge call earlier, but I don't know if you have been on this one. Have you met
One.
Consuelo and Mark?
I've
Yeah,
done one call on this so far,
yeah,
besides this one. Mhm.
good. And
More
then,
books today.
so Ellie, you just sent in your book proposal to Hay House, and you're about to send it to the entrepreneur version of that contest. Why don't you kick us off? Say where you are, say what your book is, and we'll go from there.
Okay. I'm Ellie Brown. I'm living in Boulder, Colorado. My book is Soul Echoes: Five Layers of Return to the Resilient Being You Are. Um, and I don't know if you wanted me to tell more about it, but that's my book. That's who I am. Um, Carolyn's been helping me, and it's been an amazing experience.
Well, if you do want to, pull out one of your hooks from your book proposal. Um,
Yeah, and my book is about the return from white knuckling it through a kind of a false level of resilience to deep soul level resilience, a return to your own voice and your own story, reclaiming your own life again. It's part of this.
mm. And the way I see it is that it's sort of putting together two things that I think I always say that 1 + 1 = 3 when it comes to pitching a book. And your 1 + 1 that adds up to 3 is just its soul echoes are kind of the magic in everyday life. They're like the all. And then you have the expertise of being a therapist, and you're bringing in the IFS work along
Yeah.
with that. So, and that's where I think, and I think you might have just been coming on, Ellie, as I was talking, but I'm doing like this day long thing where it's been editors and agents talking about like how, and people have been pitching. So the first editor was, oh my God, if you guys like to write long form, creative nonfiction, this is just a lovely journal. It's called Now Voyager, and the editor of that is Mark Janet, but he was at New York Times Magazine before that. And he just, million sparks of ideas. They're looking for global stories that, that are everything from history to culture to food to travel. And then the next one on was an agent, and she just took pitch after pitch after pitch from people who were asking, "How do I develop this pitch? Where can I do this?" And a lot of it, a lot of them, she said, "Go ahead, get an essay prepared for the cut, get an essay prepared for New York Times Modern Love, be on This American Life." Just test it out, like all kinds of little ways that you build up. So, um, so that's Ellie. I'm gonna swing back around to Mark next because I wanted to give Consuelo a minute. So, Mark, introduce yourself, say where you are, give us a little bit of your book and what's become clearer about your book since last we met.
Okay, I'm Mark Kirby, and uh, my memoir is called Chunky Blend, an interracial family saga, a tale of wacky hijinks. Oh, see, I'm
It's okay.
anyway. I'll stop right there because I'm
Okay.
just
Okay,
still
let me ask you.
responding. But then,
Yeah.
oh, go ahead.
Let me ask you this question. One of the things that we were just talking about in this other call is just sort of the idea that it's a narrative if it has a beginning, middle, and end. So if you had to say what the beginning, middle, and end were, what would you say?
The beginning, middle, end. Okay, it's about me growing up in a black family with parents were doctors in a working class neighborhood. My mother had a long illness, and then she passed away. And then about a year and a half later, my dad remarried a white Jewish woman, and we became a blended family, which then put me in a sort of a cultural no man's land where I had to figure out who I was and where I fit in the whole context of America, especially at that time in the '70s, where there's a lot of change.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's kind of a grief memoir and it's a coming of age book.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Okay. Um, Consuelo. And
I
Jenny's
can't
just coming back on, so I'll get
couldn't
to you
have
next.
I couldn't access my letter.
Oh,
What the happened?
okay.
I'll just let's see. This is my exercise of just on the seat by the seat of my pants. Tell me your story. I am a first-time novelist of Latin American origin. Consuelo Luz Arostegui is my author name. And I have written a trilogy, and I am called Canto, with a theme of music being an important source of power and healing. The first book is the one that I am going to pitch to agents, book one, which is called The Bone Cleaner. And it is a multicultural, multidimensional, upmarket. I don't even know what upmarket means, but it seems to
Upmarket
be
fiction.
fiction
Yes.
um, that follows the life story of a Guatemalan woman who has been badly injured in a terrorist bombing and is in a liminal place of out of body between life and death, where she is able to access her life. She doesn't have any memory, but she's able to access uh, and her life, do a life review by entering through the astral archives that she has access to, and is able to relive her childhood and then her young adulthood and her. This good. I know this is longer than an elevator pitch, but
That's okay.
I'd like to get feedback onto what were the important elements that I could focus on. Um, she's raised in a convent in Guatemala, an orphan by a Mayan healer, so she is Mayan Catholic influenced, and she ends up joining the guerrillas in the terrible 40-year war in Guatemala. And that's all I'm going to say for now. But that's kind of the gist of it. And I don't know. Yeah, to wrap it up, I don't know what else I would say.
It's
It has music. It has because I'm a musician, professional
mhm.
musician, singer songwriter, and I have all this music that I have created, and it's going to be included in within the book. So as you're
Yes.
reading, you can actually scan the QR code and listen to the music that's being sung in the story. So it's not like just a soundtrack, it's actually the characters singing, and then you
Yeah.
get to listen to it.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
I think that's the unique aspect of it that is quite unique. I don't know if anybody else has done it or will do it, but is doing it. But
Yeah.
it's the important part of it because the music and the ability to sound is an important element and theme of the book.
Well, that really hit home because it's not just your character story, it's Guatemala's story. But Guatemala is not understood well by probably those of us outside of it, but also those in it because it is sort of um, rich with complexities, the complexity of the Mayan and the Catholic traditions just blending together in so many ways that they're not in disharmony with each other. But also
And
just,
the hook that I've which you helped me, kind of dig out of this whole story, is the bone. The bone cleaner is the title.
aha,
This woman ends up becoming a bone cleaner in Guatemala, where they're cleaning the bones of the victims of this war. This is a real thing. This is
yeah,
historical. That's going on right now. This whole government agency. And so the metaphor is She is cleaning her own bones by accessing the truth and essence of who she is. And
Hmm.
she's cleaning the bones of the victims of the war in Guatemala in order to um, to reach redemption and reconciliation in Guatemala with her people and her country.
Yeah.
So what we came up with is as she cleans, as Guatemala is cleaning its bones, that's it. As Guatemala is cleaning
Yeah.
its bones, she must also clean her own bones.
Yes.
Something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think I think it was great that we hit on that through the process and how I want to kind of help people extrapolate. I mean, one of the things on this workshop that I've been doing now this morning, and then I'll do the rest of this day, is always looking for a way, whether it's memoir or in your case, Consuelo, it's fiction. In your case, Ellie, it's teaching memoir. That the personal narrative that's in it, again, whether it's true or fiction, um, goes beyond that personal narrative. And you just described how your book goes beyond that personal narrative. I think Mark hit on it when you hit on like it was the time, it was, the 70s and we're still, well, late 60s, 70s. There was a lot of turmoil in the country around race relations. And you were having your own personal journey in your own family at the same time that is beyond and out there beyond that story. Um, so I just want to encourage people to look for that beyond as you're writing,
Could I
because it
ask?
is seems to be what the agents are looking for. Go
Okay.
ahead.
No, I just wanted, I would actually like to ask for some feedback, especially from Mark and Ellie. When I was describing, I know that's too long for an elevator pitch. Which parts of what I said jumped out as the most kind of intriguing and, oh,
Yeah,
I want to read that book, the kind of thing.
yeah.
What,
Okay, I want to just check with Jenny first so she can
oh,
introduce.
Jenny. Oh,
And,
we have
and
Jenny.
that'll give Ellie and Mark a minute
I
to
didn't
kind of
realize
think.
there was
Just
another
just
person there.
and one thing I do when you're sort of doing this, what you're asking for, Consuelo, is just sort of like what's the recall? Like what was landing with you? What was singing to you, in the moment. But Jenny, do you wanna come on and introduce yourself? You just sort of, yeah.
In the
Or do you
dark.
want us to come?
Are
Yeah,
you able to hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Are you able to see me?
No.
No, your screen's just not
Yeah,
you.
I don't know what's going on.
Oh, do you have something over the little camera? Maybe.
I
Is there
did, but I took it off. And like if I do that, that's me putting my finger over it. So there's something working, but then there's something
not working?
not. So, but if you can hear me, that's good. This is a new laptop, and for some reason, every time I'm in Zoom, there's like a fritz
Something.
of, yeah.
There's a something.
Okay. Um, yeah, I'll go rather quickly. Um, Today's my birthday.
Oh,
Happy
happy
birthday!
birthday.
Yes, thank you. So I'm at my mom's today in Alabama, and I'll be going back to Pensacola, Florida tomorrow. And I am working on my book titled In Times of Trouble, Radically Manifesting for Conscious Change. It is a call to action collective help book that aims to move its audience from accidental reality creation to an empowered state of radical manifesting that is consciously inclusive of the collective. Um,
I love it.
and yeah, that's basically from my overview, but it's a course correction manual for white women.
Yeah.
Is that the title?
My title is In Times of Trouble, Radically Manifesting for Conscious Change.
Hmm.
Yes.
I like the last thing you said. I mean, I'm
The
sorry.
course correction.
That's a great title. Course
Uh-huh.
correction for what? Course correction for.
For
For
white
white
women.
women.
That's a very
Course
intriguing
correction
title. I
manual
like
for white
that.
women. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
I like
you.
that. Yes, yes.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, there's some hooks in there, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
um,
And there's a twist because it's a collective. Yeah, like it's playing
it's a
off of
collective
self-help books, but
self-help.
it's collective help book. Like it's no
Yeah.
more just yeah. So there are a lot of hooks in there. What else? Since we're on Jenny right now, what else did you hear in that hooked you? What do you want to know? What are you curious about?
Well, that's why the last thing, that course correction for white women just jumped right out at me. Whoa, that is something. And that the other description kind of went over my head. It was a little too wordy and complicated, and I couldn't kind of follow it, easily. But
And I was reading that from
yeah,
my overview. So I know like reading it feels a little, I even hear just the like clunk of it. Um, the part about being a course correction manual for white women comes from like recent period of time where white women seem to be leading the charge when it comes to manifesting and a little bit of bypassing on like the collective as a whole. But because white women have that capacity, like there's white women that have that like foundational bit of knowledge around manifesting, we can take that and expand it into how do we use what we've learned about manifesting that's been like self-center focused and take those principles into like deprogramming everything that we've come to believe about like how the world works, how people have to suffer, and make that more inclusive of like community and the world that we're creating automatically without examining that. So
so I mean, if you don't mind, I just give you a little
No,
feedback.
yes,
Yeah, it sound from what you just said, I'm trying to simplify it in my mind. So as opposed to the work that women have been doing for the last many years of self-exploration and self-affirmation, um, it's kind of a move to take that power that we've acquired,
hmm.
and self-assurance,
yes,
confidence, and take how to manifest it out in the world. Was that kind of
yeah.
in a community, or whatever outward, more external way, rather than just the
Yes. And in essence, we're manifesting all the time based off of the beliefs that we have about the world that we live in and the experiences that we're having. So when you individually look at manifesting for self things, you start with your beliefs and identifying those beliefs. And so it's and taking that out into like things that if we see somebody suffering anywhere, it's because we have a belief that suffering has to exist. So it's examining those beliefs about how people should be treated, what's like guaranteed for some people and not for others, for the types of people that need help or don't have help. It's taking those same principles that we use and then using them for systemic problems, community problems, changing who we are in relation to our experience in the world around us.
Mhm.
Did that answer?
kind of, are you putting forth that suffering is not necessary? That because that's the concept that's very, very strong in all our religions and all our kind of history and all our individual processing. It is in suffering and in pain where we learn the most about ourselves. If life is too easy without suffering. So that part of it, I just,
Yeah. And some of that is also coming from a belief system. So whether it's true or not true, it's not really for like me to say or decide, but it's for other people to start examining, is this story true? Like, is this real? Does this have to continue? Do I need to learn more, or do I just believe that this exists and therefore I have to participate in this model of how I've been told the world works? Is this really true for me? And if we aren't taking the time to examine those like standards of how things work, we're leaving so much undone in regards to how like we can experience the world and create change.
I can
Did
see
you
it.
read
I mean,
your title again? The title of it,
Yes.
because
Yes.
there's
In
so much
times of
there.
trouble, radically manifesting for conscious change.
It would be like, it'd be great if you could somehow add to that, or like add to conscious change and say maybe like believe, like, what are you changing? So you laid out how you're, changing beliefs in relationship to like the the outer world, and not just your own personal life. So somehow, add to like, changing beliefs, or bringing the personal to the general, like, something like that, like add a phrase or something to like emphasize how your book is about, like, taking manifestation, like you said, and then spreading out those ideas to like help other people in society, manifest and break through these barriers. So I don't know, add a phrase like manifestation and breaking barriers, or you know, uh, bringing it to the world, something along those lines, so that when you're,
Yeah.
saying like the title, there's a clearer picture.
Mhm.
Which I've had to
I
work through in my
hear,
own stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
some of the words make sense to me, but may not be as like obvious to somebody looking to figure out what they want to read or choose.
Or an
Yeah.
agent to
Yeah.
know like what it is that your book is about. So
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I think
thank you.
you're wanting to draw this line, and I think Mark's articulating this. But this line from the personal interchange leads to the conscious social change. So
Yes.
yeah.
What I'm hearing is that the deeper message that you have, or underneath all this, is the question: is suffering necessary in order to learn or evolve or, manifest? Is that a underlying
That
question?
that is like a thread. Yes. Um, that is a thread.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's
I'm
a
making little
very,
notes while y'all are giving me this
yeah.
feedback. I'm making comments because this is very helpful for me to
Good.
know what other people might might get stopped by.
Or
That's it.
just what we're hearing, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And some of it is curiosity, it's just sort of like, is this going to be in your book? You know. And I mean, Consuelo just asked you, are you going to really look at suffering in your book, and whether, you know, suffering comes from the outside, or suffering is self-imposed? And and you said yes,
Is it
I'm going to
necessary?
examine that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
very intriguing and important question that, should be asked. The answer is maybe it's an individual. We all and have to answer it individually, because not everything is for everybody. Some of us do have to learn by
By,
suffering.
by suffering.
So
And
maybe some people don't, or some people call it spiritual bypassing, when you don't, you say, well, I don't need to suffer. I'm just,
yeah.
evolving. So I think it's a very relevant question to be
Mhm.
asked.
And I think what you're asking, and then also like the feedback from Mark too, is and I'm not sure how this gets addressed, but the point of the book is not necessarily to give all the answers. The point is for us to be having these conversations, like, and the questions and the curiosity, because this is kind of this is a big concept to be like, I know everything, because I don't know everything. But I think if we have the conversations and we just start to examine more beyond just ourself, the collective, beliefs that we hold, that's progress. Those are steps that's creating a different reality just by the curiosity.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm noticing something that I
oh,
think,
please.
like for the in the title, maybe with all this talk about curiosity and questions, maybe the word inquiry is going to be in the title, around And then I love like almost like bait people with the what's going to draw them in, because this topic that you brought up about is suffering necessary is I've had really cool discussions with friends about this topic, and I'm very interested in this topic actually. So like if you have the word inquiry in there, and then you put in little nuggets of these actual inquiries and frame it in a way where it looks like this is a discussion. This is something that I'm not offering all the, like you said, and making the title encapsulate that somehow with the word inquiry or curiosity or something like that. I don't know. I'm kind of piggybacking off what everybody else said too, but
I'm putting all of these and notes on my outlines.
yeah.
It's really, really
Good.
helpful. It's like
Well,
giving like fresh energy to to a
yes.
project I've had for a
Follow
while.
Yeah.
exactly
So
what Ellie just
And you'll
said.
get the meeting summary as well. So you'll have
yeah.
some of this. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you all. I
Consuelo,
appreciate it.
I don't, did
I
you?
also felt
I
I
just
felt
think
Oh,
bad
instead of
my call cut off. I was hoping to maybe say something to Consuelo, but my call went off.
oh,
I don't know if I could still say something about her book.
oh, yeah. I wanted to circle back around to that.
right,
If,
yeah,
yeah,
Yeah, I would
I
love
would
to.
love to hear that. The last thing
yeah.
I was just
What
gonna,
did you hear in that pitch that
yeah,
she made?
but I
Uh,
just wanted to finish off with the last thing I wanted to say to Jenny is that instead of putting the word inquiry in the title, make the title itself a question.
yeah,
Or just really think about like, yeah, before we leave Jenny, um, maybe, you know, there's something like, there's always this question, what do you do with the book? What do you actually do? And I think inquiry might be the word of what you do with it. It could end up being in your title, or it could be in your book jacket copy, or it could be just sort of the structure that runs through it, that holds it together, that it is all inquiry. It's about, because I think what you're talking about is asking white women in particular to just re-examine all of this, themselves, their spiritual lives, their um, the way they participate in conscious change in their lives and the world. But you're really asking them to do this inquiry, to just
Yeah.
examine it again.
And it's directed towards white women because I mean, I am a white woman, but I also understand like there's still systems that give white women more power to influence if we are using that influence in a way that like can help support other systems and other beings that have had to kind of carry burdens that white women maybe haven't had to take on. So it's kind of like, hey, here's our time to sort of look at how we've contributed to like the history of everything and what can we do differently.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I hope all of this is just making it clearer and clearer for you, Jenny.
I'm so grateful. It's very helpful. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Good feedback.
Yeah. So switch gears back to Consuelo. What did you guys hear when she was talking about the bone cleaner?
I love your book. I already want to read it.
Oh,
uh,
yes.
I love, and I want to tell you a little bit why. So like I just resonate with almost every chord of what you're weaving together. I lived and worked in Central America for many years.
Oh
So
my gosh.
I was in Nicaragua. But so I love that culture. Like it has such a pull for me. So just that alone. And then that bone cleaner aspect and how you're tying it into all the different, the literal and the spiritual and the whole life experience. And then I love books, stories where people get to relive their life or go back in time or different things like that. Like it just, so many things about it really pulled me. And especially just that. And also I'm a singer songwriter.
Oh my
So
gosh.
oh my gosh, I
You
want to
are
hear your songs.
definitely my target audience here.
Yes. I was
I
like,
think
oh,
both of you have Spotify's.
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
David was
Really?
so
Spotify.
like, I was
Oh,
excited. I was like, I will read I would love to read your book. And I love that I just loved the deeper truths that you're bringing through those threads that you're weaving together. Sounds so meaningful to humanity. I love it when you can read a fiction book that has a deeper purpose and message. So thank you. That was
Awesome.
lovely.
Thank
I'm
you.
so excited about your book.
Oh,
Yes.
yay. I am too. So, oh, I'm excited. Yeah, I, I actually, though, I thought it was too long. I mean, I was kind of rambling, because I haven't worked on rehearsing the elevator pitch. So what I was curious was which of those elements, really would you, I mean, it sounds like you liked it all and but
Yeah,
I'm
trying to think.
wondering which are the ones that would appeal more, as a tiny synopsis of all
But
of it.
I really like the whole time travel and like the metaphor of the bones. I can really see that. Yeah, I definitely want to read that. But I'm curious with the music. Is this are you like in your book going to be writing lyrics out, or is it going to be like connected to a Spotify or YouTube? I'm thinking of like doing that in my own book,
Hmm.
having like in the book like you know this band is playing in this chapter and have like the actual songs which are gonna be in there either like with audio book or as part of a Spotify playlist of getting together for each every time music is like mentioned. So I'm just
Yeah,
curious,
I
like
mean, I'm
are
still
you like
exploring.
how you doing the music
Okay, I have
aspect?
three ways. Well, first of all, I have all the music is right now on my websites.
Oh, okay.
You can go and find the page. It says Canto Songs, Canto New Songs, and I uploaded all the different pieces of music, and they have their little descriptions of where it happens in the story and a picture that I
Oh man,
added. So you can go check my website
you've
and
already done what I'm talking about. That sounds great.
well, that's my website. I'm not linking so far. I don't know. I'll have to get some tech advice on what is the best way. Right now, I also did some research on how to create QR codes. So,
Yes.
let's say the page comes up in the book where the Mayan healer and the protagonist, Kame, is her name. She's teaching her how to chant in Mayan these chants that, according to the Mayan calendar, that Solkin. So, and then there's a QR code. If you're just reading the book and you're not reading it on a Mac or on a digital, you can grab your phone, you can scan the QR code and listen to them singing just what's going on in the story.
Wow,
Hmm.
that's so cool. You could
I
be in
Hmm.
the
know,
coffee shop with your headphones reading the book, and then
yeah, you
you
can listen.
got that
Yeah.
Now,
going for the full experience.
another section of the book where she's grown up, she's getting carried away by a very sensual sexual desire, and she listens to a song on the radio on a woman poet, Gabriela Mistral, who's a Nobel Prize winning poet in Chile. That and I made a song with this poem, and it's very sensual and it's very Latin, and she's listening to it on the radio, and it inspires her to actually get even more on this passionate path that she's on. And then and then at that point when you're reading about how she's listening to this on the radio and starting to dance to it, and you can do the QR code and listen to the song that she's listening to on the radio that's making her even more sexy, sexual. So, and then the other way is if you're reading this on a digital uh, venue, I have a link that it's a what it is. I think it's through. Is it through Dropbox? I can't remember. Is it
Oh,
Dropbox?
right, right.
Yeah.
Is it
So
Dropbox or Spotify?
you actually click on the link, and then the page comes up, and then you can listen to the song on your computer
Hmm.
without having to scan.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Dropbox. Dropbox,
Yeah.
So
I
the
use that.
other,
Yeah.
and then the final way to do this, which is what I originally conceived, because when I started writing this book, the only option was to have a CD in the book.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because
In the
one thing
jacket of the
we
book, a CD.
Yeah, so she and I talked about when we were working on this query letter that both of us remember a book that we love by Laura Esquivel, she wrote like Water for Chocolate, but then her next book was The Law of Love. And this was in the 90s. So there was a CD in the back of the book. And so in the query letter, we reference that, although as you can hear from Consuelo, this is much more integrated with the story than just being a soundtrack. But yeah. And I just think there's probably I think that's just like enhancing your book. I think I'm seeing a trend actually, and maybe this is just my particular fascination because I love music. I'm the co-founder of Stories and Songs Writing Retreats. But when I was up in Denver recently, where my daughter lives, we went to the Outside Days Music Festival, and it was music, film, and ideas. And one of the presentations was a man who was a graphic artist and photographer who had done a movie about athletes doing extreme sports. And he did it all at night. It was all filmed at night because they're wearing these Arcutrix suits that glow in the night. So you can see them when they're rock climbing or mountain biking, every extreme sport you can even imagine, freestyle skiing, rock climbing, and you're seeing the movements of them like a skeleton. That's his movie. But also he had it live scored. He decided the best music for this movie is the Grateful Dead because he's a big fan. So what he did was for the movie, he had it live scored, meaning that as we were watching the movie, the band was right there in front of us playing the
Oh, wow.
score while we were watching these images of the athletes doing the extreme sports. So I think we have it. I think we're sort of on to something here
Mhm.
because I think we live in a world that where now these things can converge more.
And I
Yeah.
think I always, as I, years writing this book, I realized that it was very cinematic. The
Uh-huh.
book, isn't it? I mean, it is
Yeah.
so visual and cinematic and dramatically, the landscapes and the action. And so I really do think, I mean, everybody thinks their book should be a Netflix series or whatever, or a movie, but I do think that this is just ideal for let's say, Netflix series. And it already has the soundtrack.
Yeah,
You know,
right. It's already
right?
ready to go.
I saw like Water for Chocolate, the Netflix version of the book that just recently came out, and there's beautiful music. I love the music, but that came afterwards that they added to the movie, and
Hmm.
I already have the music, so checked.
Yeah.
That's checked
I,
off already.
I love hearing about this part of it because I've actually had a similar idea because my Soul Echoes idea originated from how I've resonated with people's creativity and how that was like a soul echo. I just felt their soul through their art or their music or different things. And so part of my book, it's weaving in some memoir like qualities where I'm telling the stories of my life and how different songs came out of that time. And so
Mhm.
there's a story about a song being created, but it's also my story. And so I was trying to think of ways to connect the reader to my songs as well. One of the ideas I had that's kind of like what you've already got going is I thought about having a website that's connected to my Soul Echoes book, and it would
Mhm.
have different things in there that people can explore. Like I
Mhm.
have poems and I don't know, maybe it'll have other creative things because I do some art and stuff like that. But like having a website that's linked to the book that just has
Yeah.
everything there. So I also thought about that. I don't know if that's something you might want to do.
No, absolutely.
Carolyn,
Well, I've already done it.
Yeah, you already
I
have
already
it. So
have
it should just
my,
be,
because I have
yeah.
two websites that are my
Hmm.
commercial
Yeah.
websites.
I
And
think
so I already
it's
did that. I uploaded the music there, and people can go listen to the music without even reading the book. But
Yeah.
I'm still waiting. I'm not going to do first of all, I don't know if whoever I get as a publisher will want to create a new website just for the book and the trilogy,
Yeah.
or whether it's could be just a web page on my website
I
or a
think
link on my website
I
to.
think that if it's Random House, they're just going to have a page for your book. And then you are going to have your website, and that's where you get to do whatever you want to do. It's your website.
Okay. That
So
I'm wondering how what aspect of that does a publisher take control of? Like,
they put your book on their website. That's what they do.
yeah,
That's
but
all they
like
do.
one page. Yeah.
That's what they do. And then you get to do whatever you want with your website and your book.
And I'm not
I think we're talking about something that is sort of like a way enhanced book club guide. I have a book club discussion guide that you can download on my website for Boundless. But everything you're talking about is so much more than even that. Because you guys are talking about like if you go to the author's website, then you can get this and you can get stories, you can get songs, you can get poems. Ellie's talking about, I think you're talking about giving people the experience of soul echoes.
Yeah.
They can come to your site and they can get the experience in sort of different multimedia ways
Mhm.
so that they are kind of cultivating the practice of soul echoes. And
Yes.
your website will just keep giving that experience to people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Um,
it's interesting that the three of us all have that, connection to music and wanting to
Oh, it's
give.
not just the three of us. Mark
Yeah,
is a musician.
no, but I mean, Mark, I'm
Oh,
including
Mark
Mark,
and oh, yeah,
and
okay.
the four of us.
Oh, the four.
But I'm
Well,
saying of the three of us,
Jenny plays. Don't you drum, Jenny?
I'm a little bit of like I've done DJ playlist for ecstatic dance. Like I'm more like piecing together like how things flow. I've done drum circles and stuff like that. I mean, I have childhood music education, but no, I'm more like what I'm thinking and hearing is I can't remember if Diana that ever did a cookbook with like YouTube
Yes.
links, but
Yeah.
I'm wondering the question of like is the music like an offering of you bought the book, so here you have access to this? Or are you putting your songs on Spotify or YouTube or Apple Music, and then you're like trying to drive people to the places where you can monetize them watching your video versus like if it's just your website, you might not monetize
Right. Yeah.
if it's music on your website. That's what I'm thinking and hearing is like a more like the business sort of financial aspect of how are you setting it up.
so
Does
right
this
now,
people draw, does what you're
I mean,
doing draw people to your book? Or is there a business imperative that comes with it? And maybe somehow if people buy your book, maybe you hold a class or a workshop or you've got a membership thing that you're monetizing. And then you get to dive deeper into some of these things that we enhance with. And the answer is you could do both. Because here's the thing, people are, if they want it, they're going to want more. And they're going to want your presence showing up and guiding them through it.
so I'm not sure how it all works, technically. Right now, you can go on my websites and listen to the music for free. Now you can't, if you want to download it, that's where you pay. The same on my Spotify. You can listen to some stuff on my Spotify for free, but then if you're a member of Spotify, but then if you want to download the music, that's that's what you pay for. And so I assume that the book will be a vehicle to promote my music, not only the songs that are in the book,
Yeah.
but I mean, I've made multiple albums of all kinds of songs. So, and some of these songs in the book are from a couple of those albums. So I don't know. And I'm monetizing is an important thing to do.
Well,
So,
yeah, I mean, because I don't know how much money, like, it would just make sense if you're trying to get your reach out there. How are you putting it out there in a way that also like helps you get a return on what you're offering?
Mhm.
yeah, I haven't figured that out yet in terms of the music in the book. I mean, I want at least the songs that are in the book, in this first book, to be free. I mean, that you can, if you're downloading the book, but I don't know, maybe you can download the book, but then the music you can listen to it, but you can't download it. I mean, a lot of people like to just listen, and then some people like to download it so they have the music in their own library, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
So
do both. I mean, that's what Bandcamp is good for. You can just listen to some songs and
Yeah,
some stuff
so
I
I
stream.
absolutely.
think
Yeah.
that's the model of, you can listen, but then if you want to download, that's where you pay. So
Right.
that's
Right. Yeah. But I think well, it's like we all need to go to business school around our books. But I think it's a great world that we live in, that it can be multimedia and that you can think through it. It does really depend on getting a business model for you as author. And what is that business model? It's more than just a book. I always tell people there are 10 ways to make money on a book, and only one of them is getting published.
well,
So
but I certainly need to know how, all the other ways too.
all the other
We don't
ways.
do, and I think for the
Well,
fact
that
that we're all so into the music aspect here,
Yeah.
we can all
Mhm.
help each other because the more of this kind of you know style of writing with music, the more there is of that, the more it will become a trend, and the more it will be just the new thing.
Well,
And
let's
here
be
we
ahead of
are.
it.
Yeah,
Let's be
yeah,
ahead of that trend just since we see it
yeah,
yes,
coming.
we're ahead. I think we're ahead of the trend here, and
Yeah.
it's just kind of serendipitous that the three and four. I don't know how much Jenny's music is a part of her writing, but certainly
Yeah, but
us
so it seems to me that you guys have a different kind of thing than me. You guys have original music. I'm just
original.
using like the music I grew up with. I mean, I'll have some newer stuff later on when I'm actually like playing music and so forth. But my my Substack page has like stories. I'm gonna put music in there too. Let's put it all in one thing and link to my like Spotify. But it's Temptations and jazz and Peter Paul and Mary and Motown and rock and roll. But it's all stuff that grew up listening to, tied in with like with uh certain life events like you
mhm.
know MLK getting
Very.
killed and
Mhm.
rioting
Mhm.
going on in our neighborhood and
Yeah.
a lot of
You know what
action
I
packed.
wonder,
Yeah.
Mark? I wonder, maybe you have, I thought your book sounded so interesting because of all the different culture woven through your life story. I wonder if there are songs that have to, that you could bring in around when Judaism got introduced into your life, or these different cultural elements too. Like, I don't know, maybe you've already thought of that, but I could imagine that being powerful.
Yeah, yeah, thanks. Yeah, there's some scenes of me taking my stepbrother to his bar mitzvah training, and we're just fucking off and listening to the radio for a few hours.
I mean,
Yeah.
there is a difference with using other people's music because then you have to get the rights.
Well, only, oh, no. If it's
No?
in the book, you have to get permission.
Yes.
And the fair use law says it's only 2 lines of a lyric that you can include before you have to start paying them for the intellectual property. But there's nothing wrong with having a Spotify post that has a link, I mean, a Substack post that links to Spotify where it's there for everybody.
That's what I do
Or so there's
in
no,
my Substack page. I've got like I got like links to like YouTube, Temptations playing or Jimmy Smith or Miles Davis kind of embedded in my memoir excerpts.
yeah, and that's what I did with Boundless. One of the things I chose to do to promote Boundless when it came out in December of 2024 was I just did 12 Substack posts and I called it 12 Songs of Boundless. And then I wrote about why each song, how it figured in with the story. Um, and then just linked to either the YouTube or the Spotify because that's already published and out there. They're making money by me pointing other people
Yeah,
to them. So that's not a copyright violation, but it is a copyright violation if it is sort of in your book in print. That's where you really have to be very careful about the intellectual property laws.
Reading a book about the 60s and each chapter started out with a quote from a 60s famous song, but there were only two lines.
Exactly.
And
Because that's
that
the
was a
rule.
wonderful way to open each chapter. I remember,
Uh-huh.
oh yeah,
Well,
I remember that song, you know.
actually, so I was telling you about this workshop I'm doing today, and the agent who was just on, she also is a memoirist, and she has a podcast that you might want to listen to, particularly if you have any kind of writing that you're doing around difficult fathers, hard to understand fathers. It's called um, what's the name of her podcast? Let's try to scan to her um Tell Me About Your Father podcast. And the memoir that she wrote is called Don't Let Me Down, which is a line from a Beatles song. And
Right.
she was explaining that and part of the story is that this father that she adored, but also was very difficult, um, was a big, big, big Beatles fan. So every single chapter is the title of a Beatles song.
Oh, and what
Yeah.
is, and this is her memoir.
This is her memoir, this agent's memoir.
What's her
And then
name?
and
What's her name?
Erin Hosier. It's Hosier, Erin, Erin. She's at Denlow Carlson and Lerner. She really is actively looking for memoir. She's actually actively looking for memoir about music
Oh,
because
good.
she represents Patti Smith's two memoirs, which are supposed to be great.
Oh yeah,
Um,
those are 5 stars on each one.
oh my God. Have you
They're
read
so good.
Just Kids, and have you read Bread of Angels? That's her latest one.
I haven't read the. I've read Just Kids and M Train.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
It's
so
really awesome.
she's the agent for Patti Smith.
could you
Okay.
spell out her name, her last name again?
Oh, Hosier, Hosier. Um, and then she's at Dunlo, Carlson, and Lerner, which that's also a really, really good. I mean, it's a good agency. There's all kinds of great agents there. There's Betsy Lerner is kind of a veteran agent who's there, and she's written memoirs herself, and she has a really great craft book called The Forest for the Trees, an editor's guide to getting published. So it's one of the best. It's a go-to book. So that agency is filled with great agents, and Erin in particular is great. So if you want to kind of get acquainted with an agent, you might actually listen to her podcast, or even get her book. If
But
you like the Beatles, if you like music books,
she's not fiction. She's not fit for fiction. She's only memoir.
she does do fiction as well as memoir. Yeah. Yeah,
But
we were all talking to her because this was specifically for memoir and essay writers, but of course I write fiction too, and she reps fiction as well as memoir.
okay. Well, after this trilogies, as I mentioned to you, my next book is going to be a family
Fiction.
memoir. Yeah. No,
Uh-huh.
family
Oh.
memoir.
Oh, family memoir. Oh yeah, you mentioned that.
As
And
you
I think
said,
Ellie
I really
mentioned
need to
to
write a
me
memoir because I have an extraordinary
that's right. Oh, I
background.
know you should. And Ellie mentioned she's interested in writing fiction after this. So
Yeah, I have a great fiction idea that I'm excited about. So
Yeah,
that's
me too.
exciting.
that's
That's
Okay,
fantastic.
so
Well, I
you,
hope you
you
guys
guys
keep
are going to go to fiction, and I'm going to go to memoir after.
I hope you guys just keep showing up every month because this is fun.
On
Yeah,
fiction, I also have
great.
something going there. So
Oh
Yeah,
my
All
God,
right.
that's great. That's fantastic.
this is
Okay,
great.
well, I just want to say we are getting to the end of the hour, and I had to switch around. It's usually the second Wednesday of the month that we do this, but I had to switch that around because poor me, I'm going to Ireland. Don't you feel sorry for me?
Oh, dang. Sounds like
Oh,
hell.
But I'm gonna do it on
yay.
the first Wednesday of the month, which I think is September 2nd. So write
yeah.
that date down. We'll just do it a week earlier. In fact, I will already be in Ireland, but I won't be on the pilgrimage part of what I'm doing in Ireland. I'm just going to have a few extra days to travel. My hope is to get up to the Passage Tombs up near Newgrange this time. But September 2nd, I will be coming to you from Ireland.
so
And
what
maybe,
time? Same time?
oh yeah, it'll be the same time for you guys. It'll just be it'll be later in the day for me. It'll be dinner time. Yeah. Yeah, because Ireland's 7 hours ahead, so it'll be 6 p.m. for me in Ireland and 11 p.m. Mountain Time, 1 p.m. Eastern.
All right.
And I forgot I don't want to leave out Jenny. Noon Central. We're
Got
in a
it.
couple of different time zones. Yeah, we'll be all kinds of time zones, but maybe we can talk about fiction next time or whatever. It seems like whatever comes up is what we talk about. So
True.
this has been lively. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you
Well,
so much. It was
keep the
wonderful to
pen
meet all of
moving.
you.
Yes, I'm glad to have you here. It really was. It was a fun one. So come back next
Yeah.
month.
Hey.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone. Have a
Okay.
good
Thank you.
week.
Okay. Take care.
All right. I look forward to my critique of
Yes.
and also put any like agent names you can think of, any like websites. Just maybe I can put stuff in the story catalyst page, just like any like all of us like agents or any ideas. Just throw it up there to keep the dialogue going.
Right. There is, and there, I don't know how much if you found this place, but Mark has, but there's within the Mighty Networks platform, there is a subgroup for agents and allies where people can exchange the agent tips.
Okay.
So, and that's how you find them. That's why I
Yeah.
really believe it's allies. You really need people kind of passing a little tip along to you here and there. Um, so okay.
All
Well,
right. Have a
until
good
Thank
one,
next time.
guys.
you.
Bye.
Bye bye.